Most people think that their biggest flaws are the things holding them back. And that makes sense. But frequently, our dreams show how our flaws are our secret spiritual power. Welcome to the Dream Interpretation Podcast with Michael and Sandy.
Hello, welcome everybody. We are so glad you are here, and we're excited because today is May 4th. So may the 4th be with you. Got to get that Star Wars in there, Michael.
Your dreams show you how to turn what you consider to be a flaw into a strength, into a spiritual gift. Impossible, you say. Sandy, show them the dream.
Alrighty, I love this first dream. It is so exciting because it's got an interesting interpretation. And the way the dream sounds, it sounds really good. So I'm going to start out with the title, The Dorm with Friendly Women and a Conversation with Dad. Ooh, and this is from Claire. I was staying in a building that felt like a woman's dormitory where all the doors to the different rooms were open along the hallway. And there was this flow of conversation going on. I felt really happy. The young women were all really nice. There were two of them that I had become friends with. I think we were roommates. We looked at each other and are in astonishment that it's only been 2 days since I have been staying there. And it feels like so much life has been packed into these 2 days. And it feels like we've known each other longer than that. It feels very pro-women, women supporting women. All righty, Michael. I'm going to stop there and let you have some fun.
All right. This is a long dream, and we're not doing the whole dream on the show, but I like these dreams. I like it when I'm working with somebody and you have a dream where you can really sink your teeth into it because you can get so much out of it. Anyway, straight off, the dream is very healing for finding your supportive tribe, because that's what she's got here. All the doors to the bedrooms are open along the hall. Like that wouldn't be the case. And we see the number 2 coming up, 2 women, 2 days, and she can't believe that she's only been there for that long. So we know it's a time. So it's healing for the age 2. And then the other sad part we can say, because she says it, it feels very pro-women, women supporting women. She is not used to that. She's not used to being supported, but she's also not used to being supported by other women. So Sandy, questions?
Wow, that's very interesting how you got that. So we've got young women that are nice. What's going on?
Well, it's all the supportiveness and the openness, and there's no boundaries. Like all the doors to the bedrooms are open. Like she specifically says bedrooms. It's not just the doors to apartments. So it's like a feeling that she wouldn't be used to. In fact, I would say it's the complete opposite of what she thinks is possible.
Wow, that's amazing. So we also have a women's dormitory. So what's up with the dormitory? Because that's usually in relationship to college.
Yeah, we've seen it a few times on the show, and it always symbolizes tribe when it's done this way, like you're in this room over here and people are in other rooms and so on. Oftentimes it'll be a dormitory where a lot of women sleep, and it's always women in the dreams we get. And it's about finding your tribe. Like, where do I belong? Here, there's a mix of safety and belonging, but belonging is a very feminine trait. Like, have I arrived in a loving planet? So we see kind of a mix throughout this dream of a masculine issue of not feeling supported and a feminine issue of not feeling like you belong. And they're both being addressed. And the big issue for this dreamer, I can give away, is not feeling supported. And so that's the stronger one that we're going to see throughout the dream.
Very good. Okay. And we already talked about the two, so I will move on. I hear my sister talking on the phone to one of them. Why is my sister talking to you? And how do you know her? I've been trying to reach her.
Well, when I channeled on this part, they said that she changes to accommodate her sister. And she does that with her dad too. How does this happen? She's very tuned into boundaries. She feels that other people don't respect boundaries at all. If to her, it feels like a weakness that I'm very aware of boundaries. I'm very aware of the fact that people don't support each other. And I think everybody should, everybody should respect the boundaries and they should all support each other. But that kind of gives away what our trauma is. When we think the whole world should act the way you want them to act, it's a bit of a clue. Even if what you're saying is something that most people would agree with. But so anyway, when it comes to the fact that she's able to tell where the boundaries are and when somebody's encroaching on her space, she can also tell that other people can't tell. And so when it comes to her sister, she has to modify her behavior so that her sister feels comfortable. And same with dad. She's the one that has to give. These other people don't give. And that's part of what the dream is trying to bring up on purpose. And we'll talk about it in a bit.
Excellent. Okay, I'm going to continue on. Then I'm calling a restaurant to make dinner reservations, and it was going to be for 9 o'clock. And I thought, that's really late. I was going to meet my lifelong friend Tiffany. We danced ballet together, and I asked the woman on the phone if there was any chance she had an earlier reservation. She said, yes, I do. Oh, okay. Because the brochure they gave me at this place I'm staying said that the dinner was at 9 o'clock. But that's really late for me. I laughed and said, I usually eat at 5 o'clock, but it doesn't have to be that early. How about 7:30 or 8 p.m.? I said, I have to double check with my friend and I'll get back to you. I wait for the women's response to see that, but there was just silence. Hello? She makes some sort of noise and I realize she's still on the line. I said, I just wanted to confirm that yes, that the table was available for that time. She said yes. I was waiting for the system to do something. Okay, Michael, moving on to you.
All right. So when it comes to her friend Tiffany, she makes accommodations without consulting. So she says, I like to eat at 5. And because she's dealing with her friend Tiffany, and this is a lifelong friend. So this is somebody she's known from such a young age. And even without consulting her, she's saying, okay, I'll eat at 7:30 or 8 rather than at the 5. So she doesn't say, hey, I like to eat at 5. Is that okay with you, Tiffany? She just goes, no, I'll make accommodations and I will put off when I'm going to eat to accommodate her. But Tiffany hasn't asked for it. But this backs up the point that they were making earlier about she changes her behavior to accommodate other people. And so the other thing then, channeling on it, they said, even with Tiffany, who's a lifelong friend, you are comfortable relaxing with her, but you're not joyful. And it's kind of interesting for them to say that. So she had to think about it and go, oh, wait, yeah, I hadn't thought about it. But this is the point they want to make, that we often have a low bar that we set and we say, this is a good time. And it's not a good time. It could be better. And we don't do what we need to do to make it better. So the bar that she has for this is a good place is a high bar that can't be achieved. And so she puts up with a lot less. And they said to her, like, you don't even relax in situations. So when you're with your friend Tiffany, you're constantly testing the bar. So all the way through life, she's testing the bar. Where's the boundary? Where's the boundary? Where's the boundary? And that's no fun. She doesn't find happiness easily. There's another thing they said. She said hugs bring it to her, but you can't stay in a hug. But imagine if you could do something in your life to where you get that feeling all the time. And we can.
That's wonderful. It's sad that she only gets it through hugs, but at least she gets it. So we have a phone again. And then she's having some problems hearing, and then she realizes the lady is still on the phone. So what's going on with the phone?
It's the awkwardness that really comes to the fore. Like I'm talking to somebody who's meant to be professional, et cetera, and I have to say hello. Like, are you still there? I know she's on the phone. Like that shouldn't be the case. And the woman even comes back and says, "Oh yeah, I was waiting for the system to do something." Well, yeah. Well, then tell me you're waiting for the system to. So she has a dream where she has these issues show up in the dream, and it's all kind of like boundary, courtesy. You should explain it to me. All that kind of stuff is just going to be repeated over and over. But ultimately, it's boundary stuff.
Interesting. Okay. Then I try calling my sister with a phone, but I can't see the screen and the numbers very clearly. They're blurry. So I pick up another phone on which I just press speed dial for her number. My dad answers the phone. By the way, he's deceased. Oh, why do you have Jessica's phone? He said, she gave it to me. She wants to be offline for a while. I said, but I really need to talk to her. He said, well, I can't go see her because I'm sick and I have to be in quarantine so I don't infect others. All righty, Michael. There you go.
So this backs up what I said earlier. Dad and her sister evoked the same response from Claire. That's why Dad's on the phone. Also, we already know it's about boundaries, but quarantine is the ultimate boundary The boundary problem is a father issue, of course. That's why the dad's on the phone, and boundary issues are masculine energy. So it all makes sense. But with quarantine, he is saying nobody can cross this line to come into my space. And also, you can't get me to cross it to come out either. So it's cool how we see lots of things all pointing at the same issue.
Why was the screen and the numbers not very clear? Why were they blurry? And why did she have to get a second phone? So what's going on with that?
So this part of the dream was kind of annoying to her because her sister wasn't there. And she's like, how do these people even know my sister? This is my tribe. Right. So it's kind of like her sister invading her space. And so she then wants to talk to the sister and she has difficulty with that and then brings up this second phone. But the whole idea then that she ends up talking to the father instead is because that's where the issue comes from. If she wants to deal with this, which she does, then she's going to have to deal with the issues around dad.
Oh, very interesting. Okay, we're going to move on. I was sitting on someone else's bed in the dorm, and they returned to the room. So I got up and moved and was wandering around the halls talking on the phone, heading back to my room. Alrighty, let's see what's next, Michael.
So here you see Claire makes the move to accommodate others. She gets off that bed when the other person comes back. And yeah, you could say she was on someone else's bed, to which I say, but it was her dream. She doesn't even own the space in her own dream.
Oh my. Alrighty, we'll continue on. My emotions were welling up as I was saying how happy I was here and how much I loved it here. Everyone is so nice and gets along, and there is this flow of conversation. All the doors are open, and you can have this ongoing conversation where you're just connected all the time. And you can just wander in, and there's just more flow. Everybody just really super friendly, and I love it here. I got choked up, and I said to my dad, I really appreciate you. I love you. Thank you for making this happen or having your support for this being possible. I don't remember his exact words, but it was positive, supportive response and something to the effect that you're meant to be happy.
All right. So this never happened in reality because otherwise it wouldn't be in the dream. Her thanking dad for all the issues he caused and for his support that didn't really exist, which it didn't. But in the dream, it's wonderful. She's feeling great in an environment that would almost be impossible for her to imagine. Love for her must include respecting someone's boundaries, and here there are none.
Very interesting. So we've got all the doors open, ongoing conversations. You can just walk in, and you're saying that's not good?
No, I'm saying that is good. She wouldn't even be able to imagine this. And like I said before, her normal view, and the reason she couldn't imagine this is her normal view is that love includes respecting boundaries. And where are the boundaries in this? And yet this is working, right? So
Oh, gotcha.
that's the difficulty for her. But in the dream, it's great because it shows her a completely different way of being and she's good with it.
Oh, excellent. Oh, wow. Okay, we're going to continue on. And I love she was meant to be happy. I agree with that one. So we're going to move on. This is the last part of the dream. Then I see that the women are leaving as a group dressed to go to the beach to go swimming. I don't think they noticed me where I was sitting on the bed, and it didn't seem intentional that they were leaving me behind. I told my dad that I was going to get off the phone now. It looks like they were all going down to the beach, so I hung up with him.
Okay.
Alrighty, Michael.
The dream continues on here for many more paragraphs, but we'll stop here and just explain, tie it all together. But this is the sad part, and this is how life is, that she feels left out, feels like she doesn't belong. So we need to see it in a dream when a dream is healing for it. And the good thing about it, because we see this consistency in the dream, and we've been working together for a while, of this has been a wonderful place where the boundaries are gone. It shows that she doesn't need to work on herself. She's done that. We're seeing now the culmination of that work that she's done a while ago. And so what I loved about it and the twist here is what the guide said about it. They want her to change her philosophy. She feels that everyone should support everyone else. But that is the result of a trauma. You should never in your life be like, my happiness is dependent on all these people doing this particular thing, or my happiness is dependent on one other person doing this particular thing. If you ever make that true, then you're giving somebody else control over you, right? The idea that I will feel good. If everybody else does this, that's never going to solve your life. So, what is it about her? She respects boundaries. That is a superpower. She can create a space where a person's boundaries that have been violated in the past in their own childhood are fully respected to the point that this other person notices that her boundaries are being respected. They don't notice it by knowing the energy, they know it internally. Lots of crying on the inside for that person in this space. So, like, she can create this space where the person's comfortable because they know that there's no threats. Because anybody who has these issues, if someone's encroaching, that's a major threat. Like, why aren't you respecting my boundaries, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, this is where they started to turn it around. They're saying her ability with boundaries is really her superpower. And they're saying that being respectful of people's spaces is never wrong. So this is a positive trait of hers. And in fact, when I was channeling on it, she was saying, well, surely this is how it should be. And I said, when you go to the high levels of the spirit world, it is exactly how it is. But it's not possible on the earth plane because people are broken. And that's how they put it. There's enough people here who are broken. They're incapable of playing the game at this high level with this high energy where I will always be respectful of somebody else's boundaries. So you can't be here and expect everybody's going to play that game because so many people cannot play that game. Anyway, when someone crosses her boundaries, she is able to push back just fine, but then she allows the boundary line that she's got between them and her to be fuzzy, a little bit hazy. And they're saying this isn't a problem because it's her choice. She chooses to do this. And again, I'm surprised at this, with them saying like this is a superpower. She does it because she's aware of how the person needs to heal from the confusion of like, oh, I thought this was okay. I used your milk or I drove your car or whatever it is. She's able to push back, but then able to do it in a way where she allows the person heal from the confusion that they had about, I didn't know this wasn't okay. And they said actually she could write a book about this. If a person asks her about boundary issues that they have, they also said that she can see them as long as they ask, but she can't see them if they don't ask. So, which is kind of funny. She is so respectful of boundaries that she doesn't know what a person's major issue is unless they give her permission to look at their issue to find it, which is exactly how the spirit world operates. We say to people all the time, you need to ask your guides to help you because they're not looking at you. They're being respectful of you having free will and your own choice and your own space without them looking at you the whole time. But if you ask for help, then they will look, determine the help you need, and they'll give it. So you always have to ask. But here she is following that rule herself. They said also she's meant to notice boundaries and infractions, but she's meant to notice them differently now. So the philosophy has to change, which is absolutely wonderful. Anyway, that's the twist in this dream. She wants everybody to be at the level that angels are at, like where they're very respectful. But people here are just miles away from being able to do that.
Mhm. That's excellent, Michael. So, of course, I still have some questions. We're going to the beach to go swimming. So, what's going on with the beach?
So it's all about spiritual outlook, which is what the beach is about. And we see that earlier with the time 7:30. So commitment to the spiritual side of herself. So they're saying like this is a spiritual power, this is an ability you have, and use it as that ability. So understand that while you're considering it's a flaw because it brings lots of strain and issues in your life, you can now change your philosophy and realize that you have abilities that other people don't have. Wonderful.
That is a beautiful dream. I just loved it. It's amazing. All right, Michael, I guess we're ready to move on. We've got another dream, and this one's rather short. So I will dive in. It's titled New House, and it's from Joy. I'm with Michael in a new house, large. It's all golden wood, and he asked if I thought if they finished buffing it all yet. The painters were coming, so I knew I needed to decide. In the dream, I was realizing I was going to be painting the wood. Was that a good idea? All right, Michael, that's a very short dream. What you got for us?
It is a short dream and it's a very simple answer. And you would think with the wood, it's going to be about elimination system. But when I tuned into it, they're showing, this was a fashion for a while ago. You would have wood paneling in ceilings, especially if it wasn't just a flat ceiling. And they would just either yellow with age and become this beautiful yellow color, or they'd be varnished and have that beautiful color on them. And they showed it like as if God was in front of the wood and this was the shine, the golden shine behind him. And so this is about her letting herself shine. And when I said that to her, she said, "Oh, there was a statue of God in front of the wood too." So that was funny. And then she's questioning, I was thinking of painting the wood. So again, I'm going to diminish and hide this, which you shouldn't do. And this is true for most people. We hide the best parts of ourselves, diminish them, and then we focus on the negatives and enlarge them really in our minds because we put so much focus on them, which is just sad. So it's a quite nice, simple dream, just saying, let yourself shine. And she hasn't stopped it because the painters haven't come.
That is a really cool dream. I like the golden part. Is that a nod to healing or?
Imagine that halo that you would see behind Jesus in pictures and God in pictures, paintings, and so on. That's really what it is about.
Cool. And what does that mean? Does she have that? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, she has to let herself shine. Let the godlike part of her shine.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. So we're moving on to our next dream, which sounds really interesting. The title is Healing a Bird by Tony. I was at some kind of gathering with everybody who attended the Ashling retreat, and we were all participating in exercises or some type of activity. There was something that we had to do that it was an odd number of people, so someone had to sit out for this activity. I might have volunteered to sit out. While I was watching the activity, I heard some birds that were stuck in what seemed like a trash can. There were two trash cans made of painted cardboard instead of metal. They looked like a bulk mailbox like you'd see on a street corner more than trash cans. I heard that there were two birds trapped in there, and I was communicating with these birds, and I could hear them flapping their wings. At first, I thought it was one trash can on the right, but it was on the left. And so I opened the top, which revealed a small hole. The two birds came out, and one flew away. The other bird couldn't fly, but instead of running away, he waited for me because he knew I could heal him, and I did. Whew, that's pretty cool, Michael. What do you make of that dream?
It's a pretty good dream. I mean, parts of it aren't good. I wouldn't be happy with having some of this dream, but don't follow the crowd. So everybody is doing this one thing. There's an odd number, and I sit out. So dreamer's feeling a bit odd. But when I channeled on it, they're saying, yeah, it's fine. It's fine for you not to follow the crowd. Don't do that. In fact, do your own thing. And that's true for all of us. Spiritually, we're not meant to follow other people. Yes, we can learn from other people. We can integrate some of the things that people teach us and so on. But what we do in life is typically going to be our own style, our own stamp, and all that sort of thing. So it's never really about following the crowd. Um, they are okay with him promoting others. That I thought was interesting. And he's in sales now with switching into spiritual stuff. But they said, don't create a funnel that goes directly to the other people that he's promoting. The funnel has to go to him. And a funnel is kind of like a lead magnet or something that you do to attract an audience. And so because he has this special ability, you would think they were saying, okay, it's fine for you to promote others, send people to other people. And they're like, nope, don't send them to other people, send them to you, bring them to yourself. And then from there, you can do whatever you want to promote other people. So, but the action in this dream is very, very straightforward. The trash cans that become mailboxes, there's two of them. Two of them is all about channeling. There's two birds as well. And it's like, oh, I realize these trash cans are actually mailboxes. So they want him to focus on improving his channeling. And he's a good channel. And he has to work on the feminine, which is the left side. The left mailbox is where the birds are, to improve his awareness.
Very interesting. Okay, yes, I do have questions. So, all right, I could get the gathering with everybody. They're doing exercises, and he sits out. Okay, no problem. And he volunteered. So, what's up with that?
So this is him being okay with not following the crowd. A lot of people want to follow the crowd. They have fear of being left out or missing out. So we know he doesn't really have that, but we know he's looking for his place. Until you find your place, you're going to feel like, okay, I've tried this and I've tried this and I've tried this, but I haven't found my place yet. Or I haven't found, in his case, because he hasn't left his conventional job yet, I haven't found the mechanism by which I can leave my conventional job because I still need to eat, still need accommodations. So what is it I'm going to do? And the dream is then getting them comfortable. Don't follow the crowd, start working on your channeling, which is kind of
Mm.
funny because they push that a lot with people. I work with people intensely. It's like, get to the point where you can hear your guides very clearly, because that's super important. Like, know your dreams and know how to channel.
Mm. And then what is the trash cans? What is that about?
So it is elimination system issues, obviously, but they're not really the focus in the dream. But we have the channeling because there's two birds in the trash can. So I come across this a lot. Like, we teach people how to channel and they get to that point of, "Oh, okay, now I can talk to my guides." And they're like, "Well, what do I do now?" It's like, build up a rapport. Get to the point where you can ask your guides anything and you can hear their answers very clearly. And, figure out from you pushing that connection how far it can take you. Like, think about it. Like, I'm doing dreams for 25 years. You come along and you say, you can go further, go to the next place of channeling when it comes to the dream. And so it's really saying that to him. That's what you need to do. And he already works with people. He can already channel and he's focusing on particular things. But they're saying, no, we want you to go further. Your channeling is still very much contained. You've got these two birds in the trash. And birds in dreams represent our spiritual side. We have to look up to see them. They will often represent our higher self or higher beings that work with us.
Yeah, and then we have painted cardboard instead of metal.
Yes, so cardboard would be another symbol for elimination system issues, mainly because the color, it's brown, and it can be damaged pretty easily. But the focus, like I said, is not there. There isn't any physical damage pointed out in the dream. It's what's contained. What have I thrown in the trash? This beautiful aspect of me that needs to be freed.
Oh, got it. And then we have bulk mailboxes. That he changed them to that.
Yeah, that makes it channeling, where you
Aha.
you deliver messages to other people, information to other people, and so a post office, a mailman, or a mailbox, or even just a letter in a dream will all symbolize this: the ability to receive information and pass it on to others.
Right. And then I opened the top, which revealed a small hole.
So explore your channeling, and something new is going to come from it. And even the fact that he has to heal one of the birds, they don't
That was
just,
my next.
yeah, they don't just fly away. One flies away, so that's fine. That's good in a dream. Freeing the bird, freeing any animal is a good thing in a dream. But this other one waits for him. So he has to get in touch with his channeling. They are waiting for him to do this. And he actually does touch it because he goes over and he heals the bird. It's going to help him heal an aspect of himself too. Everything is always connected. There's no such thing as a spiritual ability that you bring and you're going to use just for the betterment of others. There's always growth in it for you too. Spiritual things are always balanced.
Wow, that is amazing. I love this dream. It's actually pretty cool. And I like the fact he freed the bird and healed the one that needed to be healed. Well, Michael, I think that's all we have for this week.
Well, we have a new mentorship cohort starting on May 17th. And if you are interested in that, that's where I teach you how to interpret dreams, how to channel, and so much more. It's a 10-month long program with a few streams working in parallel. But if you have questions about that, if you've been to our summits, you already know you like this thing and you're wondering about doing it, then get in touch with Sandy at dream-analysis.com/Sandy. You can book her there. You have to do it before May 17th. And she can answer any of your questions and she can channel and ask, is this something that you're actually meant to do?
Yes, and I look forward to talking to people. I enjoy it very much. And so, even if you're not meant to do the mentorship, at least talk to me so we can see for sure.
Yeah.
And I do tell people no, but I do tell people yes. And so, we would love to have you in the program if it's right for you. Anyways, Michael, this was a great show. I think I love the dreams and some of the twists. So, yeah, I hope everybody has a good week and you enjoy the show.